Hello, everyone. I'm doing my. Sorry, let me get my. Hey, hey, hey. I hope that's better. But anyway, anybody, I'm starting to go through my list of songs that I'm planning on reminiscing and basically talking about how those songs affected me and how I felt and how remembered that time of my life. Because that's another part of my uh, life remembrance, or let me see now what it's called. Oops, I dropped the microphone. uh, yeah, I'm doing a series called The Soundtrack of My Life. I'm so forgetful now. I keep forgetting that word soundtrack. Soundtrack. I have to remember it. And then tomorrow, when I do another Soundtrack of My Life series, I forget the name, the title. The title is called Soundtrack of My Life. And the reason why I gave the title is because I want to start talking about my life as I remember them. And sometimes the only way to remember them is through music. So, I have a list of songs that I have in my Spotify. And every time I listen to it, I remember what I was during that time, and how that song helped me, or how that song reminded me, and why I included that song in my soundtrack of my life. I started in A, and I've done about six or seven already, and this one is called "Act Naturally" by the Beatles. I don't know if you know that song. But anyway, this song was written in the 60s, and I still remember Ringo Starr is the one that's singing this song. And I turned on the TV, it's in black and white, and the Beatles were there. I can't remember the name of the show. Maybe it's Ed Sullivan's show or one of those black and white shows. And Ringo was singing the song. And Ringo was so small, and he's the drummer. And it kind of reminded me of country western song, and I guess Paul McCartney and John Lennon wrote the song, and it sounds really good. And when they were playing, I remember what was I going through that time, and also I remember why are we always ever feel like you're going through the motions every day. You know, um, Shakespeare, he wrote something like the whole world. I don't know how the real quote goes. The whole world is a stage, and we're basic player acting in that stage. And of course, we're the star of that stage because everything revolves around us. So everybody everywhere is acting like they're supposed to, in their own world stage, basically. So sometimes, do you feel like you're just going through the motions, like you're just playing a part in your own life that you didn't even audition for? Like, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? That's basically what I was thinking of, when I heard "Act Naturally." When the song was in the background and my mind was going, uh, you know, going around again. That's basically how my mind works. When I hear a song, I start daydreaming, or my mind just goes off, I guess. And this song is kind of cheeky little song, that Ringo sings, and he's talking about becoming a movie star, because he's so good at being sad and heartbroken. So that means that one of the requirements of being a movie star, my wife used to say this: if you can cry and have real tears, and you say, oh, he's that's a good movie star. Now every time there's a show and there's like a crying scene, me and my wife would look at the actor. Are those real tears, or just pretending to be crying, and there's no real tears coming out. And that's our criteria. If a real tears come out, oh, we keep saying, oh, he's a good actor. He can cry on command. And then if there's no real tears, you say, oh man, the guy can't act. Can't even force himself to cry some tears. So that's that's how we basically grade actors. So at first it's funny, laugh like what I'm doing now, but then it hits me. There's something really profound about that idea. When friends of mine go through some hardship or some really hard time, or even me myself, when I went through a breakup, with my first wife, uh, sometimes you try to pretend, that it's not happening. You go to work, go to your daily act that you go through every day. You answer texts, you pretend that you're happy, like there's nothing wrong. But inside of you, you feel like someone just pulled the floor out from under you. You're hurting inside, but you're not showing it. And during that time, you remember people saying, man, you're handling this really well. And you smile and you nod. But all I could think of is if they only knew. If they only knew how I feel. It's like the clown, what was that song? I can't remember that song. Tears of a Clown. The clown is acting really happy outside. And everybody's laughing at the clown. Everybody's laughing at the clown. But inside, just like what the title says, Tear of a Clown, the clown is crying inside. He's really sad. That's when you realize that you're not really handling everything well. You're just performing. You're acting like it was. You're acting like everything is together. You're acting like you're in the Philippines, they have this thing called, don't put shame. You like, if somebody passed away, and then you go to a funeral, try not to cry, especially if you're a man. The woman, they're excused, because they cry all the time. That's what they say. But the man, try to be strong, show, then, not, don't cry, try to be responsible and, greet every visitors in and talk to them and do what needs to be done, to get the day done. But when you get home, when there's nobody around, then that's when the tears come out. See, you're acting. You're basically just acting. You're pretending. You're pretending to be you're okay, but actually you're not. Oh man. And so, after that, it's very exhausting actually, just to keep pretending. So just like that song, act naturally. I can't remember how it goes. They're gonna put me in the movies. Pretend my voice, okay? They're gonna make a big star out of me. The biggest fool that ever hit the big time. Da 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 da. So, when. And that's basically you. Biggest fool who hit the big time. They're gonna make a movie star out of you. Everybody is starring in their own little drama, own little comedy, own little adventure, because you're the star of the show, the star of your life. Everything revolves around you. So when you hear a baby cry, when you hear some sound, that's your background basically. And honestly, you're actually just hurting. So what I learned about this song is sometimes you don't have to fake it anymore. You don't have to act. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to keep putting up a show just to make others comfortable. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop acting and just be real. If you're heartbroken, be heartbroken. If you're confused, be confused. If you're not sure, be unsure. That's not a weakness, that's honesty. And the funny thing is, when you stop pretending, people connect with you more. They relate to you because no one has ever figured it out. We're all just trying to act naturally. Isn't that an oxymoron? Act naturally. You're acting. That means you're pretending to be somebody. And then naturally is that's your nature, natural nature. That's you. So you're pretending to act, pretending to somebody, but you want to be natural. So next time life casts you in a role you didn't ask for, like a heartbreak, failure, or disappointment, don't feel like you have to nail the perfect performance. Don't pretend. You just have to show up the way you are, the way your real self is. You might be messy, but you're human. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Because if you think about it, that's the role we were born to play, all of us. And so don't forget, be honest with yourself when you think about acting naturally. That's it. And peace to everybody. Take care now.